About 2 weeks ago, I stopped being able to eat. Not because I chose to, not even because I was preparing for anything. My body simply stopped. For 10 days, I couldn't eat. I had inflammation moving through me, through my gut, through my chest. My lungs, they felt like they were wrapped in something tight. My heart, literally my heart became inflamed. And I've been here before. Not this exact experience, but this kind of experience. And I've learned something over a lifetime of being wired the way that I'm wired. My body doesn't get sick randomly. My body receives. And when something enormous is moving through the collective, when the world is trying to process something it doesn't yet have the capacity to hold, my system feels it first. So I want to tell you what I felt. And then I want to tell you what I believe it means for you, for me, for all of us, for this moment in history that we are all living inside of right now. Because what happened in my body 2 weeks ago is what's happening in the world today. And if you felt something in your own body recently, something you couldn't explain, something that didn't match your circumstances, something that felt bigger than your personal life, you weren't imagining it. I want you to know that. That's where this week begins. Hello, beautiful ones. I'm Cindi, astrologer, mystic, and medium, and I guide people through periods of deep change by helping them understand what the sky is doing inside them. Welcome to Forecasts That Shift Timelines. This week, the sky is doing something it has been doing and been building towards for a very long time. And your body already knows. So I want you to picture this. Something happens in the world, something large, something that doesn't fit neatly into the framework you've been using to understand how life works, right? And you notice, before you have a single thought about it, you notice that your body responds. Maybe it's your stomach, a tightening or a refusal, or maybe a sense that something cannot be taken in right now. Maybe it's your chest, a heaviness that isn't grief exactly. It's more like pressure, like the air got thicker, right? Maybe it's your breath, shorter than usual, like something is sitting on your lungs and you keep forgetting to breathe all the way down. You look at your life, nothing catastrophic has happened personally. You're fine, you're functioning, but the body is registering something that the mind hasn't caught up to yet. And here's what I want you to understand. That's not anxiety. That's not overwhelm. And that's definitely not you falling apart. That is your body doing exactly what it was designed to do. Receiving, processing, trying to digest something enormous that is moving through all of us at the same time. Now, we have watched in recent days and weeks events unfolding on the world stage that carry the weight of something irreversible. Things that, once they happen, cannot be undone. You've heard me say this. Strikes, retaliation, old wounds erupting in ways that force a reckoning that has been deferred for decades. And I'm not here to give you a political analysis. I'm here to tell you that your body is not wrong to respond to this. because we are not separate from what is happening collectively. The idea that we can simply scroll past these events or manage our nervous system and get back to our personal lives unaffected, yeah, that idea is ending. What is happening in the world right now is asking every one of us the same question it is asking the nations involved. And that is, can you hold this? Can you take this in? Can you digest what is arriving? Even if it is hard, even if it is uncomfortable, even if every part of you wants to reject it. That question is not just political. It's psychological. It's spiritual. It is the question of this eclipse. So today, on March 3rd, 2026, we have this lunar eclipse at 12-degree Virgo. And I want you to feel what that means before I explain it. The moon in Virgo is the part of us that wants to make sense of things, the part that analyzes, that organizes, that tends, that fixes, that asks, but how does this work? And opposing the moon in Pisces, over here, look at this. We've got the sun. We've got Mars, which just arrived into Pisces. We've got the North Node. And we've got Mercury moving in retrograde and Venus. 5 bodies in Pisces. 5 bodies saying, release, dissolve, surrender to something larger than your ability to organize it. Stop trying to fix what is not meant to be fixed. Let the field do what the mind cannot. And the South Node, that South Node over here, the point of release, the place where we are being asked to let go, sits right beside this Virgo moon, right here, saying, the era of managing this is over. The era of analyzing your way through this is over. The era of staying functional while something in you quietly breaks, that era is over. This is not a regular full moon. This is a closing. When 5 planetary bodies gather in one sign, they are not making a suggestion. They are creating a field. And right now, Pisces is that field. Pisces is the ocean. Pisces is the dissolution of what was separate. Pisces is the place where things return before they are reborn into something new. The sun in Pisces is identity softening, releasing its grip on what it thought it was. Mars just entered Pisces, which means the drive, the will, the impulse to act is now moving through water, through feeling, through instinct rather than strategy. You may notice your energy feels less directional, less sharp, more oceanic. That is not a malfunction. That is Mars doing Pisces work. The North Node in Pisces tells us where the collective story is going, toward unity, toward compassion, toward recognition that we are not as separate as we've been led to believe and as we have been pretending. Mercury retrograde in Pisces is communication turning inward. The things that need to be said are being felt first and spoken, if at all, slowly, with great care. This is not the time for declarations. It is the time for listening to what your body is trying to tell you. And Venus in Pisces, love, value, relationship, stripped of performance, stripped of obligation, asking only one question: is this real? That is the field you and I and we all are living in right now. And underneath all of this, something even larger is completing. For 14 years, Neptune has been moving through Pisces. 14 years of the collective, that means all of us, swimming in themes of disillusion, of hidden truths surfacing, of sacrifice, of confusion about what is real, of spirituality being tested, of faith being stripped of its comfortable illusions. And for the last 2.5 years, Saturn had also been in Pisces, structuring, testing, and ultimately completing the lessons of that long Neptune journey. And now both Saturn and Neptune have crossed over into Aries. They are done with Pisces. And they recently met each other in a very direct way in the first degree of the first sign of the zodiac, 0 degrees Aries, the absolute beginning. What that means is this: an era is not just ending, an era has ended. And this lunar eclipse, with the south node sitting right beside it up here, is the sky's way of saying you cannot take everything with you. Some things must be released here at this threshold right here before you cross. And beneath all of that, there's more. We have running quietly underneath. I have said this over and over. Do not take your eyes off of Pluto. I have a whole Pluto series. Running quietly underneath, like the foundation of a building you cannot see. This is where Pluto sits at 4 degrees Aquarius. Pluto does not make announcements. Pluto does not create drama. Pluto simply determines what continues and what does not. At this degree, Pluto is auditing the future, not asking whether we like where things are going. No, he's asking whether where things are going is actually livable. Can the human nervous system sustain this? Can the collective body survive this pace, this demand, this level of extraction? Pluto doesn't care about ideology. Pluto cares about survival across time. And right now, Pluto in Aquarius is quietly running that calculation on every system, every structure, every collective agreement we have made. And he's asking, does this have a future? This is the underlying architecture. The eclipse is the visible event. Pluto is the intelligence beneath it. So let me come back to where I started. 10 days without eating, inflammation in my gut, my lungs, my heart. Now, I am a medium. I have been since birth. My body is by design a receiver. And what I received 2 weeks ago before the eclipse, before these world events fully erupted, before any of this was visible, was this. The world is trying to digest something it wasn't ready for. The gut, the place of digestion, of incorporation, was in revolt because what is arriving cannot be taken in quickly. It cannot be processed the way we process ordinary information. The lungs, the place of breath, of taking life in, were constricted because there will be moments in the weeks ahead where it feels hard to breathe, where the weight of the collective presses on the chest and the breath gets shallow. The heart inflamed because our hearts are going to get muddied, unclear, staticky almost. The signal of love and connection will feel harder to receive clearly for a time. And I want to be honest with you about this. This is not a comfortable message, but it is a true one. And here's what I also know. What my body knows, what years of receiving this way has taught me. Inflammation is not destruction. Inflammation is the body's response to something foreign, something new, something it is learning to incorporate. The discomfort is real. The difficulty is real. The period of not being able to digest easily, that is real. But digestion does happen. Integration does occur. The body does find a way. It just takes longer than we think it will. It just asks more of us than we planned to give. So this moon in Virgo being eclipsed and the south node beside it is naming what must be released. The Virgo pattern that is completing, that has already been completing, whether you've been aware of it or not, is the belief that you can manage your way through this. That if you are organized enough, helpful enough, precise enough, disciplined enough, that you can stay in control of something that is, by nature, beyond control. Pisces does not reward management. Pisces rewards surrender. Not passive surrender, not giving up, but surrender as in, I will stop fighting the current and allow myself to be moved. The question this eclipse is asking is not, how do I fix this? The question is, can I be present to this without needing to be different than it is? I'll say that again. Can I be present to this without needing it to be different than it is? That is Virgo releasing into Pisces. That is the South Node doing its work. That is the eclipse completing something that your body has already begun. So here's what I want to give you. Not just the astrology, not just the interpretation. I want to give you a way to be inside this, because this is the work. So first, when your body responds to what is happening in the world, when your stomach tightens, or when your chest gets heavy, or when your breath goes shallow, do not talk yourself out of it. Do not reach for an explanation. Do not immediately try to manage it. Simply place your hand on the place that is responding and say quietly to yourself, I feel this. I am not separate from what is happening. My body is doing what it is designed to do. That acknowledgement right there, that simple act of not dismissing what you're feeling, is the beginning of the digestion. Second, release the expectation that you will understand this quickly. The Pisces field does not yield to urgency. Mercury retrograde does not yield to urgency. Eclipses do not yield to urgency. What is completing right now has been building for 14 years. It will not be processed in a week or a month or perhaps even a year. So give yourself permission to not have this figured out. Third, it is so important to stay grounded in your body. I mean this literally. Feet on the floor, breath in the belly, hands on something real. Pisces dissolves boundaries, and that can feel expansive and beautiful, but it can also feel disorienting, like you've lost the thread of yourself or a thread of yourself. The antidote to dissolving is not resistance. The antidote to dissolving is rootedness. You can be moved by what is happening without being swept away by it. That is the skill of this eclipse. Now I want to leave you with this. What is ending right now is not small. The completion of Neptune's 14-year journey through Pisces. Saturn, closing of its own chapter there. This lunar eclipse with the South Node in Virgo. This is a genuine threshold moment. The kind that years from now, you will look back on and say, that was when this thing's changed. That was when I changed. I didn't fully understand it then, but I felt it and I honored what I felt. The world is trying to digest something. So are you. So am I. And what I know from living in this body that receives is that digestion is not comfortable, but it is necessary. What comes through this threshold for the world, for each of you, for the collective story we are all living inside, will be something that could not have arrived without this passage, without this difficulty, without this disillusion, without this eclipse burning away what could not come with us. You are not watching history from a distance. You are in it. Your body knows it. Your nervous system has been feeling it. And that feeling is not a problem. That feeling is information. That feeling is intelligence. That feeling is your system doing exactly what it is meant to do. Receiving what is real so you can move forward with clarity, with integrity, and with your whole self intact. Now, if this landed somewhere real in you, if what I named today matched something you've been feeling in your body and didn't yet have words for, there is a space where we go deeper. That's inside the inner pathway. That's my membership. We do the deep dive, and this week's deep dive breaks down the exact astrological architect of this eclipse, the degrees. This is where I talk about the aspects, the precise structure of what is completing and what is preparing us for. Because this eclipse is not just a closing, it is a preparation for what Saturn and Neptune are about to ignite at 0 degrees Aries. For the new era that cannot begin until this one is honored. If you want to understand the structure underneath what you're feeling, that's what the deep dive is for. But until next time, beautiful ones, know yourself. Listen to your body's signal. And most of all, stay grounded. Keep your frequency clear, your choices intentional, and your heart in the flow.